And now it's time for my science, history, and technology segment I call Cool Shit.
Cool shit. Shit.
This time, I'll tell you how to use others' narrow visions for broad application. You see, scientists are busy and competitive, and therefore don't communicate nearly enough with each other. That's where science nerds, like myself, come into play. We're not really qualified to do the research, but we can be smart enough to bridge and combine technologies together to accomplish tasks that neither on their own would be capable of. Now, I've had this idea that's been rolling around in my head for about a week, and it's a way that bolsters my bio-char idea. If you haven't listened to my bio-char piece from Sovcast for 5/22/2015, go to iTunes and search for Sovcast, then look for my Super Gorilla logo. If you don't like iTunes, go to sovcast.tumblr.com, facebook.com/Sovcast, or finally twitter.com/Seeker, the letter O, Veritas. There. Now that you're all caught up, let's continue. The first technology I want to talk about are ocean buoys that are used to generate electricity. There are many different types, and due to their efficiency and lack of conflict minerals, I think they'll play a big role in powering coastal areas around the world. There's one, though, that I particularly have in mind. It's called a CETO, or CETO wave power. The CETO wave device consists of a single piston pump attached to the sea floor with a buoy tethered to the piston. Waves cause the float to rise and fall, generating pressurized water, which is piped to an onshore facility to drive hydraulic generators or run reverse osmosis water desalination. So in other words, the CETO wave power device can generate power and filter salt water into fresh water.
I've thought of a better use for you.
I want to pump water from the ocean to arid regions around the world. For long distance or elevated pumping, we may need to include additional pumps powered by wind turbines, or as long as we're in the desert where the sun shines hot and bright, let's use parabolic solar troughs. Parabolic solar troughs are another green technology that doesn't use conflict minerals. Basically, it's made up of curved mirrors that focus the sun's rays onto a pipe that contains oil. The oil is then circulated through the pipe and through a container holding salt. The oil in the pipe gets so hot it melts the salt. With this molten salt, water is turned into steam, and that steam powers a turbine. Don't let fossil fuel and nuclear power industries fool you into thinking they're high-tech, for they all generate heat to turn water into steam that turns turbines, just like the parabolic solar trough. But I digress. Now that we've pumped the water to the desert, it goes in huge man-made reservoirs. The hot sun evaporates the water into the atmosphere and increases the instances of rain. The rain gets soaked up by the mycelium-filled biochar and starts growing the bamboo and hemp, which can be made into more biochar, spreading until the desert is green. And as I stated in the other episode, biochar can sequester carbon for hundreds to thousands of years. But let's say we want to make sure it rains. Use the man-made reservoirs to not only evaporate water, but to grow algae. You can even use human wastewater to feed the algae, and in the process the algae clean the water. As the algae blooms, it releases dimethyl sulfide into the atmosphere, which is used in cloud seeding as a nucleation point. Nucleation in this instance being a thing to which water vapor can cling to or condense until it forms a drop of water heavy enough to fall as rain. Now that you have water in the atmosphere and a place for the water to nucleate, we're going to make it rain. Once the algae bloom has reached its zenith in a particular reservoir, you take a sample to receive the next batch of water. At this point, there are a few possibilities for the algae. Number 1, hydrothermal liquefaction. Hydrothermal liquefaction employs a process that subjects harvested wet algae to high temperatures and pressure. Again, I'm seeing parabolic solar troughs coming to the rescue. Products of hydrothermal liquefaction include crude oil, which can be refined into aviation fuel, gasoline, or diesel fuel. The process converts between 50 and 70% of the algae's carbon into fuel. Other outputs include clean water, fuel gas, and nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. This type of fuel is carbon neutral. Numbers 2, 3, and 4, you need to first let the water completely evaporate, which does kill the algae. Okay, number 2, hexane. Now that the algae is dehydrated, a solvent such as hexane is used to extract energy-rich compounds like triglycerides from the dried material. Then the extracted compounds can be processed into fuel using standard industrial procedures. For example, the extracted triglycerides are reacted with methanol to create biodiesel via transesterification. Say that 3 times fast. The unique composition of fatty acids of each species of algae influences the quality of the resulting biodiesel and thus must be taken into account when selecting algal species. This type of fuel is carbon neutral. Number 3. Come on, take a guess. Come on. That's right. You can make fucking biochar. Now, biochar made from algae doesn't sequester as much carbon as biochar made from bamboo or hemp. However, it does sequester a good amount and is more nutrient-dense than biochar made from bamboo and hemp, so it will help the other two grow bigger, better, faster. So it's a win-win and keep-on-winning solution. As I said in the other episode, biochar is not just carbon neutral, it's carbon negative. Number 4, send it to Davy Jones' locker. To sequester the maximum amount of carbon, you could, once it's dried and dead, rehydrate the algae and pump it back out to sea, where it will sink to the bottom, where it and all of its carbon will stay for hundreds of years. So the next time someone tells you there's no hope and we should just give up, remember my motto: think, learn, or get out of the way.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong.
Arms for a leper!
Arms for leper!
Arms for an ex-leper!
Arms for a podcaster! If you like this show, please go to sovcast.tumblr.com. That's SOVCAST.tumblr.com. And look for the donate button. It's right there at the top. I'll just wait here while you go do that, okay? Hello?